Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Karyn, and what I've decided to do is to do a skincare video tonight because I've gotten quite a few requests for it, and people say, you know, what do you do for your skin? And so I figured what I would do is do the nighttime. It's not really a routine because I don't do the same thing every night. Like, this isn't what I do every single night, but I do it a couple times a week. And so this is one of the things that I do. So I'm going to incorporate not only products, but also different little gadgets that I think work really well to help cleanse and help, you know, your products penetrate your skin better. And so this is good for women, but it's also good for men. So this isn't just about, you know, women trying to take off their makeup and to use products that are going to stimulate their skin, but it's also for men, because that's really what you need to do is you need to constantly stimulate your skin. So what I'm going to do is start out with showing you the couple of the little gadgets I'm going to use, and then also the products I'm going to use. So let's start out with the facial cleanser that I like. There's a lot of different ones on the market. This one I really like because it works really well. It's super quiet when you're using it. It's not loud. I know there's a couple out there that are they're just too loud, and I just can't stand it at night. It's like this awful, you know, loud, high-pitched, you know, and that just doesn't work for me. So this is very much like the Clarisonic. I had the Clarisonic years ago, and that was really great. It lasts for a long time, but it finally died, and when I went to buy a new one, I saw this, and I thought, wow, this is great. So it's from Conair, and it's $50, and I think I've had this for 3 or 4 years. I don't even know how long. But it came with a couple different brush heads, and it's been great. So if you don't have an ultrasonic skin cleanser, you might want to consider getting one because they're necessary. If you're wearing makeup, or if you're a man and you're trying to get off oil and, you know, dirt throughout the day from being out in the elements, it's really great because then whatever product you put on after you cleanse your skin is going to penetrate your skin a lot better and work a lot better. So this is a must-have if you don't have one. Then the second little gadget that I'm going to use is this little light therapy. It's called the Instrument, and this is about $79. And it's really great. I mean, it has all different lights. I mean, it's got the red light, the blue light, the green light, the pink light, and, you know, there's a rhyme and a reason for every one of them. I typically use the red light, and that's for collagen production. And I'll use the blue light sometimes too, like on my chin, because that's where I tend to, if I have a breakout, it's typically on my chin. I don't really want to lighten my skin, so, you know, I don't use some of the other lights. And then I feel like my skin's relatively bright, so I don't really take time to do that. It's the collagen production that's important to me, given my age. So, but I do try to use this 2 to 3 times a week if I can. Sometimes I use it at night, and sometimes I use it in the morning. So it really just depends on when I actually have time. Because sometimes, you know, it's hard, you know, you get up in the morning and, you know, you hit the ground running, and then at night you're tired. So just try to figure out, you know, when you can find the time and the energy to use it, and try to use it at least 3 times a week. And then what I'm going to do to use, you know, in conjunction with those is a really great cleanser that I like that is all natural, it's all organic, and it's got some really great ingredients and doesn't make your skin feel dry. It just cleanses it and keeps it hydrated. It's really awesome. I'll link everything down below. And then I'm going to use a retinol product. I have to admit, I get this in Mexico. I go to Mexico enough over the years, and so I'll buy a couple tubes that last a long time, make sure the expiration date, you know, is further out. You know, I mean, if you have a dermatologist, you can always ask them for a prescription for Retin-A, and then if you don't want to do that, there's also one called Curology, and I would look them up online if I were you and see if you can get in with them, but they have great retinol products too. And then with that, I'm going to use, in conjunction with the retinol, I'm going to use the Coenzyme Q from Timeless. This is a great product. Timeless is a great company. They have really awesome products that are super clean, and I think you'll really like them. So most of the reason that I'm doing all this prep before I go to bed is, well, the main 3 reasons are: you want to fight the free radicals. The free radicals are trying to break down your cells. And so if you're using antioxidants, then they're going to kind of retard those free radicals, and the free radicals won't be able to break down your cells. So it will stop them, from doing that. And then, when you go to bed and you're sleeping for 8 hours, you're losing moisture. So some of the products that I'm using are going to really retain the moisture, and that's super, super important. And then the last thing is the other products that I'm using are going to increase cellular production, like the retinol. So Retin-A is clinically proven to produce more collagen. So if you can try to use Retin-A, 3 times a week. It's hard to use every night. It's really hard for me to use every night. I get really dry in certain areas. So I try to use it 3 to 4 times a week. But it's a great product to use if you're, getting older and you haven't started using retinol. It's actually never too late. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I use my tools, and I'll talk you through how I apply my products, and we'll go from there. So I just kind of go in circles when I do this, slow circles. But it's real important to kind of let the tool do its work. You don't want to kind of scrub your face with it. You just want to kind of slowly, it's kind of like when you brush your teeth with an electric toothbrush. You don't want to saw at your teeth and you don't want to saw at your face. You just want to kind of slowly let the tool do its job. Then I started off washing my face with the cleanser with my hands, and then I also go down, all the way down under my chin, all the way down my neck, and I kind of go to the back of my neck because I put sunblock all the way back there, and then all over my chest. And then I rinse. Okay, so I just rinse my face, and God, I hate, that's the worst part of washing my face is rinsing the soap off. It's so messy, water gets everywhere, it runs down your elbows and gets on the floor practically. I mean, my mom used to call my dad Flipper when I was a kid because he'd wash his face and get water everywhere. I guess I'm Flipper too, Mom. So the next gadget I'm going to use is my little light therapy. And what I like to use with this is an aloe gel. So I'll link it down because I know there's always a glare. And so what I do is I just put a little bit all around. And then one of the most important things I think about this whole thing too is turning the lights off. Even during the day, I shut the door and turn all the lights off so it's as dark as possible. So I'm going to use the red light setting because that's the one that I feel like I need the most, given that I'm in my 50s, and what that is for collagen production. So I'm going to turn all the lights off and I'll show you what I do. Say goodbye to the ring light. So I put it up a little bit on the 3rd setting. And you can almost immediately feel it. The warmth. Just slowly go up your face, down under your jaw. So it's got a 10-minute timer on it. So I'm not going to make you watch me do this for 10 minutes. I am going to just do both sides and show you what I do. So I do the same on both sides. Sometimes I do, I set a timer on my phone and I'll do 5 minutes on one side and 5 minutes on the other. And other times I'll just kind of go back and forth. But just make sure you get underneath. This is where you need the collagen production too. And then of course down on your neck. Isn't that cool though? That's amazing. I mean, you can see it penetrating your skin. So if you have extra time and you want to do your chest, then you can do your chest, but you want to make sure that I make sure that I get my face and my neck, because those are the 2 areas that age the most quickly. So if I have extra time, then I will do my chest, but my most important areas are my face, underneath my chin here, and then my neck. Okay, so I finished my light treatment and I I then rinsed my face again, which I hate doing, but I had to do it because if you don't get all the aloe off, then the other products that I'm going to put on my skin aren't going to penetrate it as well. So that's what I like to do. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my retinol and I'm going to put just a little bit in my hand, or my fingers, I should say. And then I'm going to mix it with some moisturizer, because otherwise it's a little bit too strong for my face. So I just take half moisturizer and half retin-A, and I mix it in my hand. And then I have to avoid like my nasal labial folds because they get really, really dry and red, and I hate it. And then I have to be just real easy on my chin. I can't put too much on my chin either. And then I can't get the tip of my nose because the tip of my nose gets so dry. So there's a couple areas of my skin that I definitely try to avoid. So I'm pretty good about, getting it on just the right way. Definitely put it on your upper lip. Will definitely help. Put some on my forehead. And then I go all the way down my neck. I need a little bit more for my chest, so I'm just gonna rub this in. What I'm doing is I'm mixing it with the Cera V. I love this. It's a great product as well. It's got so many great things in it. And I think a lot of people think when they use retin-A that they can't use a moisturizer. They just have to use the retin-A and then just go to bed, which really isn't true. You can use it in conjunction with a moisturizer. And I always have, and I always see little flakes of skin coming off a couple days later, so I know it's definitely still working. But I've also had doctors tell me that I could do that too. I like to put it here on the side of my neck and onto the back of my neck a little bit, because there's nowhere that you're not going to age. So, and then definitely underneath here to try to keep your skin under here tight. So the light therapy that I did is going to help this penetrate even better. And then if I have anything left over, I put it on the top of my hands. Young. Actually, I think my hands look pretty good for my age. I don't have any discoloration, no spots, nothing. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I do that, and then after I do that, I'm gonna apply some of the Coenzyme Q. So the Coenzyme Q is really great because it's an antioxidant, but it also builds collagen and elastin, and you can use it in conjunction with the retin-A too. Because once you put something in your skin, it's gonna work. They do say that you're not supposed to combine C and A. You typically put the C on in the morning and the A on at night. I don't know if that's really a fact that you can't use them in conjunction with each other, but I typically do my C in the morning and my A at night. So this also has hyaluronic acid in it. The good thing about it is it's hydrating and moisturizing. So I definitely put that in my nasal labial folds. Haven't ever done it before, you might want to kind of work up to it, but it definitely works. So then I'm going to take my Coenzyme Q, go right underneath, make sure you get this underneath part. A lot of people miss that. And then actually get your ears too. I don't put the retin-A on my ears, but I do put this on my ears. I put almost every other product on my ears. And then the Coenzyme Q on my chest, and all the way to the sides here and on the back of my neck, because the back of your neck ages too, just as much as the front of your neck does. The good thing is if you have long hair like me, that kind of hides it from the sun, so maybe it ages a little bit slower. But there was a lady telling me that her brother used to always say, and I'm going to put this Coenzyme Q on my lids, but I don't put the retinol on my lids. But she would say, she told me one time that her brother used to say he would know a woman's age by the back of her neck. And from that moment on, I started putting all my products in the back of my neck because I was like, oh my God. I mean, it's really true. If you really think about aging, you can look in the mirror and you can think, you know, geez, I look really good, you know, and then you turn around and, you know, your triceps start getting old and, you know, your lower back, and then, you know, your butt starts to sag and you start getting cellulite on the back of your legs and veins, and it's all what's behind you that, you know, you don't notice, and, you know, you think you're looking hot, and then, then you get a glimpse of the rear view. So anyway, enough about that. What I do after all of that, then I put this Olay Regenerist on. And you know, these over-the-counter products have so many great ingredients in them, all packed into a little jar. I mean, you know, you've heard about Oil of Olay for for years. And CeraVe is actually a newer product, but it's great. I mean, it's got ceramides, it's got 3 essential ceramides, niacinamide, and hyaluronic acid. I mean, all of these products are so great. I mean, hyaluronic acid and ceramides are great for hydration and retaining the hydration, and the niacinamide is great for pore reduction, and we all need that as we get older. So, and then this one, I'm trying to think of what's in this one. Unfortunately, I can't remember right now, but I know it's an antioxidant, and it's just, you know, it's super moisturizing, and it's really going to help your skin retain the moisture throughout the night. So then I put this on top of everything. And typically, you know, I do put a lot of product on my face morning and night. So if it's too much for you, you know, don't do it. Just do, you know, 1 or 2 of the products. But, you know, these over-the-counter products are so affordable that you can't, you know, it's you know, if you can do it, you might as well. But if you don't have the time or the energy to do all of this, then, you know, pick a couple of the products that you know, you have access to, or you like, or you think that you can get, and just use those. But same thing, I do this all over my face, my neck, my chest. I even put it under my eyes. I put every cream that I put on my face, I do put under my eyes, and then I do use my eye stick too, that I really do like, that I showed in another, it was a June favorites video. I had a couple people write in and say they went and got it, and they really liked it. So, and then of course, anything that's left over, I put on my hands. So here's my wild carrot nourishing stick that I really like. I don't know if I can see it very well. There we go. Like I said, I'll link everything down below. So it's like an eye balm. It's really great because it holds all the moisture in. And then I do put a little bit on my lids at night. I don't do it during the day up on my lids, but I do it at night. And then I like this organic lip balm. I like this. I get this. And I put this on all the time. Oh, my hands are so slippery, I can barely get the cap off. And then lastly, so then I do use an eye serum to make my lashes grow longer. I use Careprost. I really like it. I think it's way more affordable. It's not the easiest thing to get, but I have used pretty much everything else, Latisse and Revitalash, and I do like those, but they're a lot more expensive. And I put this on my lashes, right on my lash line. And I try to kind of keep my eyebrows high so that the skin on my lids doesn't reach down and grab the product right off of my lid. So I kind of keep looking down a little bit and sort of let it dry. So I'm almost done. And then the very last thing I do is I do this Lancome product on my eyelashes. It's called Cils Booster. I've been using this for years, and it really helps. I made the mistake when I was younger of, you know, picking the mascara off my lashes. When I moved to Arizona, I was starting a new business, and so I, you know, started getting nervous habits, and I started picking the mascara off my lashes, and inadvertently I pulled out some of my lashes, or probably a lot of them, and they've never been the same. But because I used to have really good lashes, but this really does help, and that works really good in conjunction with the Careprost. So what it does is it's just a lash conditioner, and it conditions your actual lashes, so it makes your lashes grow more consistently. The Careprost makes them grow longer, but this one makes them more consistently, so I don't get as many bald spots, because I tend to get bald spots, unfortunately, which really kind of stinks. and I don't really want to get lash extensions because I don't want the maintenance, and I just don't think that it's something that I would do for the rest of my life, and I've already had a bad experience with, you know, pulling my lashes out. So putting glue on my lashes and having it take the chance of pulling any more lashes out is not something that I'm willing to even mess with. So I just kind of coat my lashes with like this, just like I'm putting mascara on, and then within a couple minutes it's not so white anymore. It's just kind of, it turns almost to a clear color. And that's it. So I'm ready for bed. I already brushed my teeth before I started doing the video, and of course I flossed. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Hopefully you got some, you know, good information out of this video, and you know, you can use or buy or you know, try to use the products at least, you know, 3 to 5 times a week, and I think you'll really notice a difference in how your skin looks, and you know, the clarity of your skin, and you know, the hydration of your skin. I think you really will notice a difference. But I'm going to do other videos for other nighttime things that I do, and hopefully you'll see those too. So come back and see me. Have a great night. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.